What is up, all of you beautiful nerds from around the world? I'm, of course, Josh. This is the very first installment of a Den of Nerds fan chat. This is a new segment here. It's basically just a live stream where we're going to talk about some things that are going on out there. I want to do Q&A, get some questions, get some thoughts from you guys. Eventually, when we do these things, I want to just go over some fan questions as well. And you can always email thedenofnerds@gmail.com and just put fan chat question in your subject line, and then I'll take questions from people, and then we will go over them in the very next fan chat, which we'll do when we have something to go over. So if you're watching this on the replay, just kick back. We're going to be going over people's questions. However, the majority of the time, at least at the beginning of this live stream, is going to be spent dealing with Sony, with the Venom movie. I want to talk about the Venom movie, my thoughts, a review, so to speak, of what the Venom movie was like for me. I want to talk about the Morbius movie, the coming Morbius movie. What is going to be happening with Sony, with the Spider-Man character, now that Venom is seemingly a success, and we'll have to watch and see what happens with the second weekend for Venom. But it's a very interesting time. I think that there's going to be big changes when it comes to the Spider-Man character when it comes to Marvel, and I don't know. This is kind of an interesting time for Marvel fans. It's been sort of a wild ride seeing the Spider-Man character, in different iterations with Sony, and then being over at Marvel for a while. Obviously, I love Tom Holland. I love the Tom Holland version of everything, and then we get that character maybe going back to Sony as well. So we're going to get right into this with my thoughts about Venom. I want to say what's up to everybody in the chat. You guys are awesome. How's the audio? Let me know. How's the audio? How's the video? How are we doing with all of this, guys? Let me know what's going on. And we're going to get right into my thoughts about Venom. Let me know in the chat, guys. Have you seen Venom? What do you guys think of Venom? Let me know. Let me know what you're thinking, because I'll go into my thoughts, but I definitely want to know what everybody thinks about it as well. So I actually surprisingly liked Venom quite a bit. Now, leading up to it, if you've been watching some of the coverage that I did, awesome. Glad to hear that the audio is good. Yeah. So going into Venom, it's crazy because there's I was sort of bouncing around, right? Oh, you haven't watched Venom yet? Uh-oh. Should I keep? I don't know if I can keep this non-spoilery. Do you plan on watching it? Let me know. But okay, so leading up to Venom, I had a lot of mixed emotions. When it was first announced, when Tom Hardy was first announced, I was all in. I was like, yo, Tom Hardy is a boss. He does not take any crappy roles. He does not do anything like that. So I was really excited. Then there was a lot of rumors when it came to this movie. Do you guys remember when the reaction came out, or there was a rumor that came out that was like Venom is hardly in the movie? And there was all these people that were like freaking out about that. Do you remember that? There was that rumor. Then there was a lot of rumors that would come out saying like, oh, the movie's terrible. The movie's no good. All these different things. With some of the things that I saw from the trailers, I was really not impressed. Like the first trailer without Venom, I was like, okay, this is weird, but there's no Venom. Everybody freaked out. The second trailer, even though they added some symbiote stuff, I was like, this really doesn't look so good, the mood, the vibes or anything. I wasn't really into it. Then, of course, the social media reactions come out. I think they came out like Monday or Tuesday night of the week of the release, and they were pretty bad. They were pretty negative. One of the people that I really like in like content creation and stuff, Christian Harloff, he just tweeted like Venom is bad, like really bad. And I was bummed about that. You know what I mean? But this is why, like, you guys, you got to go out and see these things for yourself. You have to go out and make up your own mind about it. Because even though I like Christian, and it was kind of a bummer to hear him say that, I had to go see it for himself. So even if it's like me, and I'm saying something about a movie, I'm saying something about a TV show, and I put my opinions out there, then you should still go see it for yourself. Like, just because I felt a certain way about a movie does not mean that that's like law. You should go make up your own mind. And so I went in to go check out Venom, and I was surprisingly satisfied. I felt like the intro scene with the space shuttle coming in, and they've got Jameson, you know what I mean? It was like hearkening back to the old 90s Spider-Man cartoon. Super cool, right? It was terrifying. The beginning, they're in the ambulance. Not to ruin anything, but the symbiote's like reacting. It's like jabbing out, doing crazy stuff. I was like, yo, this is really cool. Um, it had a good vibe to it. I talk a lot about mise en scène. The film, the mood and the vibes in the film are definitely different than what you get in a Marvel movie, like an MCU movie. But overall, I liked it. I was like, wow, it's at least contained. Like it all felt like it worked within its own world, which I think is ultimately what's most important. The relationship between Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock and Venom was amazing. It was amazing. I loved it. I was like, yo, this is crazy. It's surprisingly so good. And I like how it developed over time, too. I mean, you have Venom at the beginning of the film. Um, and he's like very angry. He's trying to force Eddie to do stuff. You know what I mean? And then they sort of become friends by the end of the movie. And I just love the connection that they found, the camaraderie that they found. I was surprisingly really entertained by it. Now, the movie's not amazing. There's stuff that they do wrong. The villain is pretty contrived. Riz Ahmed, sort of a waste because he's like a really good actor. And he's just like your average comic book villain. Riot was kind of cool, though. I liked Riot. And overall, there are definitely some problems with the film. I feel like it does things to try to wow its audience, and it does things to try to excite people, perhaps at the expense of context. You know what I mean? There's some stuff that doesn't contextually necessarily make all that much sense. But overall, it is not even close to as bad as the critics were saying. Like, this movie's getting pooped on. Do you know what I mean? This movie is getting pooped on, and I think that's super unfair. I think the movie itself is actually pretty good. So that's kind of like my little review of Venom. I'd probably say 7 out of 10. I might actually see it again. I was really entertained by it, and there are certain parts of the movie that I really, really enjoy. And I had someone say earlier about the climax of the film. Look, the third act is not wonderful, and the whole symbiote fight, and then what transpires at the end with the shuttle was like super anticlimactic. But like what I've found myself just loving, and even after all of that was done, and you're like, oh, Venom's dead. Spoiler, sorry. Venom's dead, but Eddie's alive, and then Michelle Williams is like, sorry about Venom to Eddie Brock, and I found myself being like, holy crap, like they pulled this off. Like I care. I care about the Venom character. I care about Eddie Brock and his relationship with the Venom character. It's very cool. So overall, I thought that was sweet. So that's kind of like my little review of the movie, right? But what's interesting is that the fallout of the film is to me almost as interesting, if not more interesting, than the film. The movie made a bunch of money. It broke a record. It shattered a record. It did $80 million its opening weekend. It'll likely have a pretty good weekend this coming weekend, and we'll have to wait and see. Like, we got to see what the second weekend looks like. But the movie is making money. The movie is doing well for Sony, and this has been it's been very interesting to see what Sony has been doing after the first opening weekend. If this movie had bombed, I think it's pretty obvious that they would have just given the character back to Marvel. So, Yova, this is basically where we're talking about. You're asking me about the sharing issues with Disney and Spider-Man and the MCU. That's exactly where I'm going with this. This is craziness. So, if Venom had failed, then I think the Spider-Man character just goes back to Marvel. Marvel, Sony's like, whatever, we're done. 3 different tries at this, we're out. Here you go. So that could have been a possibility. That could have happened. But instead, the movie makes money. The movie's making a buttload of money. It might even make more money. This movie did not cost a lot of money to make. I don't know. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but I would be shocked if it cost more than $60 million. It's probably less. In fact, if anybody knows in the chat, let me know. Do you know what Venom costs? Because it cannot have been a lot of money. I'm pretty dang sure they made profit with their opening weekend, which is crazy, especially for like a studio like Sony. So they're making buttloads of money. If they had not done that, the character just goes back to Marvel. Marvel's very happy. Oh, 100 million? Okay. So it's going to profit soon, but it didn't profit its open weekend. So Sony's making money, and they've immediately, like I think the news dropped yesterday, that they're going to go ahead and move forward with the Morbius movie. The Morbius movie is going to start production in 2019 with Jared Leto as Morbius. And you see the model that Sony's doing. It's a very interesting model because Marvel did not start out this way, okay? Marvel took a big chance on RDJ. Now, RDJ now is a massive star. And in the subsequent movies, they have added in massive stars. Like, now you could say Hemsworth is a massive star. Chris Evans is a massive star. Jeremy Renner was actually a pretty big get. But, like, they weren't at the beginning. Like, Thor, Chris Hemsworth was not a big star at all when he got the Thor role. And neither was Chris Evans. Like, Chris Evans had done a lot. He is probably doing better than Chris Hemsworth, but Evans was not a big star. He was not like a household name. You know, did good in the Fantastic Four, not a household name. But what Sony's doing is doing the old school studio tactic. The old school studio tactic. Getting Tom Hardy, one of the biggest stars on the planet, incredible actor. Absolutely incredible. Knocks it out of the park. His performance was amazing. Right? Now they're going with Jared Leto. Jared Leto is a good actor, guys. I mean, like, say what you will about that Joker, and I did not like that Joker at all. But say what you will about that, the man can act. The man can definitely act. He's got chops. And now they're going to bring him in to be Morbius the Living Vampire? Yo, that sounds all right. And if they do a crossover scene, like a post-credit scene with Morbius the Living Vampire and Tom Hardy's Venom, like, I'll legitimately be excited about this. Like, I can't believe this happened, but we're in a scenario here where I'm actually pumped to see where they're going with this. Like, where are they going to go with this, right? I'm pretty excited to find out. Then we find out on top of all of that, that they're working on a Kraven the Hunter movie. And guys, this is where it gets really weird, okay? This is where you start to realize that maybe Sony is going to take about... Yeah, we can talk more about Morbius. Just so you guys know, I'm going to kind of ramble for a while, make my points, and then we're going to do Q&A. The whole idea here is a fan chat. I want to chat with you guys. I want to talk with you guys about this stuff. But I got to just get some of this stuff out of my brain. So I'm going to just spill some stuff, and then we'll go into Q&A. Q&A will be probably in about 10 minutes, max. So check this out. This is crazy. So they are going to do a Kraven movie with taking reference from The Last Hunt. And they said they're putting Spider-Man in it. They are doing it. They're going to put Spider-Man in the Kraven movie. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but Kraven is a big-time Spider-Man villain. Kraven is actually a villain that Kevin Feige wanted for Spider-Man Homecoming. Kevin Feige wanted Kraven, and he wanted to adapt The Last Hunt in Homecoming. And Sony was like, we got plans. We've got plans. You know what I mean? So the word comes out that they are developing the Kraven movie with Spider-Man being written into the script. The guy's just starting on it. It just came out. It was like yesterday, the day before in the news. So the question is, what the hell is going to happen to Tom Holland Spider-Man? Because if you look at some of the way these people have been talking about this, like, go way back. Go back to the Amy Pascal interview where she's making Kevin Feige cringe. Do you guys know the interview I'm talking about? Kevin Feige sitting there like, this bitch is saying this shit right now. You know what I mean? But he's holding strong. He's holding his face. He's got a good poker face, Kevin Feige. Not really. We all knew what was going on. But Amy Pascal's talking about how they're going to create a world for Peter Parker to play in. That they are actively creating a world for Peter Parker to play in. Like, yo, what? And now when you start to think about that, you're like, wait a minute. So they're building up this universe to bring Spider-Man in later. Their contract with Marvel. By the way, she actually said this. I believe it was in the same interview. It was around the same time for sure. But Amy Pascal talks about the Sony Marvel deal and how it was this unprecedented thing. It was great for the fans, and it would probably never happen again. She literally said that. She was like, yeah, and it probably won't happen again. You know what I mean? Because really, and this is something that John Campea brings up, because there's two schools of thought here. There's two schools of thought. Everybody in the content creation game right now, everybody that is tackling this issue, that does what I do, or even like us fans, right? Because, like, let's be real. Like, you know, I'm just a fan. You guys are just fans. We're all asking the same thing. When it comes to Spider-Man in the MCU, Should I stay or should I go now? You know what I mean? Like, what's going to happen? So, John Campea believes that Spider-Man's going to stay in the MCU because essentially, and it's kind of an interesting idea. Perhaps you could make the case that a lot of the new goodwill for Spider-Man was created because of the Marvel version of that character. Spider-Man's huge right now, and Sony is benefiting. Sony is benefiting. Into the Spider-Verse will probably do big numbers. Venom obviously did great, and Sony gets a little bit of cheddar from the Marvel stuff too. So Sony's doing okay. And John Campea makes the case that Sony's probably just going to leave it alone. Look, Sony technically proved they could make a Venom movie work without Spider-Man. We all didn't know that was going to happen. None of us knew that was going to be possible. And they did it. It made money. It's going to make more. They could do a sequel with Carnage. I'm actually pumped. I'm pumped to see the Carnage. I'm pumped to see Jared Leto. There's going to be no Spider-Man probably in that one. So maybe Sony doesn't need Spider-Man, right? Maybe they're like, okay, well, we're doing this with the Spider-Man villains. And this is kind of a hard thing. Guys, really lean in. Lean in with what I'm about to say here, please. And I'm sorry I hit the mic. Lean in, because this is an important point that I try to make in some of my videos, and I think it gets lost on people. I think it could benefit Sony to leave Peter Parker, as we know him, as Tom Holland, in the MCU and do movies that kind of reference Spider-Man. Because what you could do is you could have this sort of supposed continuity. Marvel will never put any of the Venom stuff or the Venomverse stuff into their universe. But Venom and the Venomverse and the Morbius movie and even the Kraven the Last Hunt movie, maybe, you know what I mean? What if they put the Spider-Man character in Kraven the Last Hunt, or they reference Spider-Man in that movie, and then for the casual fan, because a lot of us are hardcore, right? A lot of us are hardcore here. But for the casual fan, they will just assume they exist together. I still get people that think that Superman and the Justice League movie happens in the Avengers. They're like, when's that Superman character going to fight the Avengers? And I know that sounds ridiculous to most of us, but it's real. Like, the casual fan doesn't really care, guys. That's why, like, you know, we all get up in arms about our stuff. That's hashtag not my Gordon or whatever. Yo, Al Schuler in the house, everybody. What's going on, Al? So we, as hardcore fans, we get all, like, into it. The casual fan has no idea. They have no idea. By the way, I think that's the reason that Solo failed. Because the casual fan was like, what is this? Wait, what? And it's right now it's happening. The marketing for that movie was terrible. So the casual fans are going to assume, if Sony does this the right way, that those films are connected. All the goodwill that is created with the MCU. Because here's the thing about the MCU that I think a lot of people don't realize. Yo, what up, Derek? How you doing, brother? The MCU. People are going to be watching these movies forever. Our kids will be like, showing the MCU. And you know how you show people the original Star Wars trilogy? Well, you should if you're a Star Wars fan. You show people the original Star Wars trilogy. You're like, yo, you gotta watch this. Oh, you've never seen the original Star Wars? That's what it's gonna be like for the MCU. They're gonna be like, wait a minute. You've never seen Infinity War? You've never seen Infinity War? Well, clear a couple days, because we gotta watch 20 movies before we watch that. Do you know what I mean? So that's where we'll go. That's what's going to happen. So if they can figure out a through line to create that continuity, you could see that it could work. Now here's the other side of this, okay? And we're almost done, and we'll get into Q&A. I'm almost done. You guys watch Comic Book Cast, Armin, Comic Book Cast 2? Great content creator, always on top of it. Good on them. He actually thinks the opposite to John Campea. He thinks they will take the Spider-Man character back. Sony will take the Spider-Man character back. And what's interesting is, after this contract is up, they have the right to do that. They not only have the right to do that, I believe they have the right to cast Tom Holland as that character. Like, what? So, but what's crazy about that is this is actually even better for Sony, I think, when you consider the loose continuity. Because if you start having Tom Holland pop up in these movies, the MCU They will never reference any of the stuff that's going on. But all of a sudden, you've got the same Spider-Man in your movies. So the casual fan is just going to assume that it's all connected. So that goodwill, when our kids are telling their best friends about the MCU and stuff, and then they see that Spider-Man character, and they're like, oh yeah, and check out all these spin-offs. It's like a spin-off universe. That could work. And when I look at a lot of the context, when I look at, like, personally for me, when I look at what Sony's doing, I think Sony's taken Spider-Man back, guys. I really do. I really do. And I think there's only a couple of different things that Marvel could do that would convince Sony not to do it. And the fact that Marvel is going to be so focused on the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, they would probably, I mean, I think there's even an argument to be made that it would be better for Marvel to let Sony go make the Spider-Man movies because they don't have to worry about it. They could do their X-Men. They could do their Fantastic Four. Build that shit up. And then Spider-Man just goes and does his thing. And it looks, I mean, like, honestly, guys, Venom was good. I liked Venom. And if we get this Morbius movie and it's dope, yo. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, Whaler. Yo, CBC, yo, Arnhem is committed. I agree with you. So that's kind of where my mind is at with it, guys. I actually think Sony will take the Spider-Man character back, okay? Because I think it makes the most sense for them. I think there's only a couple of different things that would prevent this from happening, and I don't necessarily think it's going to be a bad thing. I mean, what if, you know, you have, like, come on, Tom Holland versus that Tom Hardy Venom? That would be freaking awesome, guys. Like, that would be really cool. And the Morbius character, that would be really cool, too. And if there's some kind of weird thing where they all have to work together and fight some other crazy villain, that would be sweet as well. So that's kind of it. That's kind of where my head is at with it. I think it's going to be cool. So now let's get into some Q&A, guys. And honestly, look, obviously, if we want to talk about the Venom thing, let's talk about the Venom thing. If we want to talk about Spider-Man and all that, let's talk about it. But if you have any other questions about anything, you know, hit me up. Hit me up, man. And I'll do my best to answer every question. If you want to do a super chat, supports the channel, I would appreciate it. And I will answer every single super chat that comes in. I'll probably go for like 40 more minutes here. Maybe less. So let's start with Wayne White. Hey, Josh. Love your vids. They need to keep doing Venom films. I really dig it. Had a few issues, but still. Sorry so late to the party. And Holland in a Venom film. Yeah. Totally agree. So, I agree. You should probably watch the replay, bro, Wayne. Because I gave like my Venom review at the beginning of the film. I liked it too. I liked the movie. I really did. And Tom Hardy, amazing. The CGI. Yo, the CGI was incredible. The CGI was ridiculous. And I don't know if they just had a lot of time. But man, that CGI was fire. It looked great. Yeah, I really like it. Let's see here. Jim Richardson. Sony will ruin the Spider-Man franchise. It's fact Venom was okay, not great. MCU would have killed it. So it's interesting because I agree. Like, I would love for Marvel to do a version of Venom. Like, I always think of myself, like, what would that have looked like if Kevin Feige had done it, right? But the thing is, guys, and this is something I say a lot, like, I love the MCU. I'm an unabashed MCU fan. Kevin Feige is amazing. Guys, what we have with the MCU is crazy. I was thinking about this. I was actually writing, yesterday I was writing videos, and I thought of, like, a scenario in my head where back in the day, like, with comic book movies, we used to see them and we used to be like, hey, that's pretty cool. Like, that's a version of that character, right? Oh, that's a cool Batman movie. You know what I mean? Oh, that's a cool X-Men movie. Oh, that's a cool Blade movie. And then when you watch the MCU, you're like, yo, no, that is Iron Man. That is Captain America. Like, they took him from the freaking page. That's him. So all the respect in the world in the MCU. I don't think anybody does it better. But I think that, like, as a movie fan, and as a fan of kind of like the visions of directors and stuff, I'm excited to see what other versions we're getting. Like, guys, we would never... Logan is my favorite comic book movie of all time. Logan is incredible. And we would not have got James Mangold's Logan if the X-Men deal with Marvel had happened a year earlier. Because Marvel, even though they are really good about letting filmmakers make their film and do that and be creative, it all has to fit. It all has to fit. And that stifles some of the vision. And for my part, man, like, I want to see what other directors can do with this. And on top of that, when it comes to the MCU, they're already doing 3 movies a year. What do we want them to do? 4, 5 movies a year? You know what I mean? They just got the X-Men back. They just got the Fantastic Four back. You know, there's no room for a Morbius movie in the MCU lineup. So, I mean, like, I get where you're at with that, where it's like, yes, the MCU would have done it better. Probably. I can't argue with that. But the bottom line is, like, I love comic book movies. I love movies. I love, like, having a good time. Venom was a fun movie. It was a fun movie that we wouldn't have gotten if Marvel had all those rights. I don't see Marvel doing a Venom movie. In fact, that was the big thing, too. We're all like, a Venom movie? You mean like a Spider-Man sequel? You know what I mean? No, a Venom movie. And it was cool. Morbius could bring Blade into the MCU. That's interesting. That's an interesting thought. I think Blade is back with Marvel because there was interviews that came out where Wesley Snipes and his whole team was talking to people at Marvel about what they want to do with the character. That's legit. I'm not lying. And one of the things I think is interesting is with them doing the streaming shows, because I'm hype on the streaming shows. No one else seems to like care. Or maybe I just haven't found the right way to like make a video about it. Because I did a video about the streaming shows with Loki and Scarlet Witch, and like nobody watched it. Like everybody was like, shows streaming. All right, guys, this is a huge deal. They're doing streaming shows. We are living in the golden age of television. We are living in an incredible time for entertainment, for streaming, for television. With them connecting to the MCU, using those same actors, using those same characters, and doing live action shows, unbelievable opportunity for them to do cool stuff. And in that scenario, that's the perfect place to bring Blade. It's a perfect place to bring Blade in. It's a perfect place to bring Moon Knight in. You do some weird stuff with like Nightmare. And the thing that I really think would be cool is like you could have Spider-Man pop up. Quick, do it before the deal's up. You could have Spider-Man pop up in one of those shows as well too. So I think Wesley Snipes, I think Blade and them are still, I think that's back at Marvel. So I don't think Blade technically is with Sony. And Yova, I totally agree with you. Wesley Snipes still got the body, still got the physicality to do that role. Definitely. And David Albee, I know you watched it because you are the man. You are the man. They brought up the vampires in Thor Ragnarok? Did I blank on that? Where was that at? Oh, wait. Was this with Loki? Was this like a back and forth between Loki and them? Oh, interesting question here by C Note. What will the Wolverine post-credit scene mean from Deadpool 2 in the future? Probably nothing. Probably nothing. That's a very funny scene, but I think interesting. Even if they did do the like the continuation of the Fox continuity, I don't think it wouldn't matter. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't have any impact. It's just a gag. But I do think what's funny, the best part about Deadpool, and this is just so awesome. We're really spoiled as nerds. Deadpool is one of the only characters that can make the transition from the Fox continuity to the Marvel continuity and like be aware of it, be self-aware. You know what I mean? Like, what if he's like talking about like the MCU and stuff, and like we got the new X-Men, and he's like, you know, this isn't Fassbender. You know what I mean? Like he can do that. That's awesome. So I'm pretty excited about this. Michael B. Jordan as Blade, maybe, but he's already in the MCU. He's already a villain in the MCU, even though he died. Ah, yeah, the 4 vampire thing. Did you know that's actually an Easter egg? It's an Easter egg for It Follows, I believe, or man, what was the name of that vampire movie that Taika Waititi did? I don't know. It's an Easter egg for his other movie. Yeah, the business side. Look, I agree with you, Ryan. It's an interesting question. The business side of things is tough, man. The business side of things is tough. And I think that the people that lose ultimately are the fans. And that's actually what Amy Pascal was getting at. When she was in that interview and she was talking about how good the Spider Man deal was, she was like, yeah, the Spider Man deal with Marvel, this was unprecedented. This is great for the fans. This doesn't happen, and it probably won't happen again. What We Do in the Shadows. Thank you, David. That's the movie. Um, like, the business side of things is brutal, and sometimes these studios just get together and do the right thing. Like, it was a this Spider-Man deal was that. You know what I mean? Seeing Spider-Man with the Avengers was incredible. It was incredible, and I love the Tom Holland version. I'm so excited for Far From Home. Homecoming was amazing. So I agree with you. Business is tough. Not to get like too off track, but so I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and if you know anything about what's going on with the Steelers this year, it's that same thing, man. Business. It's like with Le'Veon Bell, he's sitting out because he's arguably maybe the best running back of all time, and he's sitting out so that he can capitalize on his money, and he's playing this game, and it sucks, dude. It sucks for us as fans. How are we supposed to feel? On the other end of that, it's like, how should Le'Veon Bell feel, man? This is his life. This is his livelihood. This is his legacy. This is his family. So it's tough. But I agree with you. Business sucks. Business sucks, man. Indeed. C note. I don't think so. I mean, I did see the resemblance in their fighting styles. I thought She Venom, and this is kind of slight spoilers for Venom. I thought the She Venom was dope. She looked incredible. She looked incredible, and I love the whole makeout thing too. That was amazing. Uh, yeah, yeah. Venom's good. Go check Venom out if you haven't seen Venom. It's very good. Yeah, Flight of the Concords, old school Taika Waititi stuff. Yes, very very good. Girls with Sabers, nice call. That is an interesting question, David Albee. Does Disney have any rights to any of the other Spider-Men? I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't think they do. But so like they technically have the Prowler in Homecoming, and he does mention his nephew. That's Donald Glover's character is the Prowler, and his nephew is Miles Morales. So I don't know. Like they kind of say it, but they don't say like the Miles Morales Spider Man. You know what I mean? And then I just really don't know. And another thing too, when you look at the by the way, for any of the Patreons that are in here, guys, and I should have put this up on the Patreon page, we're gonna stream on Patreon at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock p.m. I'm gonna get out of here and then rest up a little bit, and then we'll live stream with the Patreons at 7. Where was I going with that? I don't remember. Spider-Man's. Oh, yeah. The thing is, at the end of the Venom, where they do the Into the Spider-Verse preview at the very, very end, um, it says, meanwhile, in a different universe. And a lot of people looked at that a little bit hard, right? They were saying, like, yo, what's that mean? A different universe. What? Sony's playing around with that idea? And this is something we talked about, like, months ago. I said something like, yo, what if Tom Hardy Venom shows up in Into the Spider-Verse? That would be incredible. And I'll say this, too, as a big Spider-Man fan. If Sony starts to play around with multiple universes, bye, Girls with Sabers. We'll see you. We'll see you at 7. If Sony starts to play around with the multiple universe thing and they do like a Spider-Verse, they do something like that, like I'm all in. I'm all in. I know Spider-Geddon, if you guys are comic book fans, like Spider-Geddon is like supposedly not that great or whatever, but I love the first Spider-Verse. And the Into the Spider-Verse, the Journey to the Spider-Verse, or whatever it was called, with all those Elseworlds, yo, that shit is hype. Those books were insane, and I thought they were actually much better than the actual Spider-Verse story. But because I'm such a big fan of Kane, the Scarlet Spider from the 90s, Kane, I loved Spider-Verse. And if they start going that way, and if they do Kane, Scarlet Spider, I'm all in. I'll change the name of the channel to the Den of the Scarlet Spider. I swear to God I will. Not really, but maybe. I don't know. I'm that big of a fanboy for Kane and the Scarlet Spider. And the Ben Reilly Scarlet Spider too. I mean, come on. So much cool stuff that we could be seeing. Yo, Ryan, I heard about that. Homie. They're doing the Spider-Man version. By the way, everybody, let me know. Have you played Spider-Man on PS4? The game's incredible. The game is so dope. Let me know. Have you played Spider-Man on the PS4? It's incredible. But yeah, what Ryan is speaking about is the fact that they're going to do a shared video game universe, right? But that's another thing that's so weird about this scenario. Like Venom and Spider-Man, that's an exclusive Sony game, which was a risk for Sony. But I think because Sony owns that license, they're like, nah, no way, Microsoft. No way, PC. I don't think so, Nintendo Switch. It's only on the Sony stuff. So, like, that's weird. You know what I mean? Like, that's weird. I don't know how they're going to do that, like, in the video game world. Like, how could they do that? Yeah, see? Whaler's talking about it. He's like, I couldn't play because Sony's selfish. I'm not a Sony guy. I don't have a PlayStation, but my roommate does. And you best believe I was playing that. That game is dope. It's a shame that other people can't play it on the Xbox. It's fascinating. It's very good. But it's like, is that another reason why Sony, like if that game was successful, so Venom was successful, is Sony all of a sudden getting a little big for their britches? You know what I mean? What do you think? Captain America video game would be absolutely incredible. I agree. I very much agree with that. That would be very cool. So, guys, we'll go about 20 more minutes here. Hit me up with any questions that you got. We'll go over those questions. It doesn't have to be related to the topic, but, you know, we were talking about Venom, of course, the Sony Marvel thing. I'm pretty freaking pumped about it. Oh, and by the way, guys, definitely subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be doing a lot more live streams. I decided this is something I really want to do. We're doing a lot of new stuff at the Den of Nerds. I'm working on new programming and different things. Oh yeah, Anthony. Yeah, man, I'll break down Morbius. So Morbius is like he's a vampire. The reason they call him the living vampire is because he basically they put in this. It's like a disease. He's trying to like cure a disease, and he gets this. He's messing around with like the genetics of bats. And he essentially gets that disease put into him where he needs the blood, and so he's like a vampire, but in the same way of Blade, he does not have all of the weaknesses that a vampire has. So that's pretty much like where he's at. He also has like, it's weird, his suckers, or rather the way he ingests blood is actually on his hands, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, he's a cool character. But yeah, the thing that's interesting is like it's a blood disorder thing rather than like a spiritual thing. So he's still like alive. But he still lusts for blood. He still has all that going on. He's super strong. You know? And I've read some really great stuff with him in it, actually. And he's a cool character. Oh, sorry. I was clicked off the thing. I couldn't see the question. Sorry, guys. Yeah, he's similar to Blade, but he has the weaknesses, so he can't be out in the light, Anthony. So, yeah. What did I think of Carnage? Ooh, okay, Ryan, real quick. Phoenix Joker looks dope. But who asked me about Carnage? Oh, Whaler. Okay, so I'm sorry, Yova. Yo, drop that question again. I'll try to get to it. Um, Yeah, of course, Anthony. There's a lot more to the Morbius character, but yeah, that's the long and short of it. He's still alive. He still has a soul, like because there's like Dracula exists in the Marvel universe as well. You know what I mean? And like, but he's alive, right? But like the Daywalker's different. Like whatever. I want to answer the Carnage question. So he's talking about the what do I think of Woody Harrelson as Carnage basically, and the post credit scene. Yo, that wig was whack. That's me. I'm like that wig was whack. Woody Harrelson's a good actor. And I actually would like him to play Carnage because I think that like, you go back to like the Natural Born Killer days, like he's got chops, he has range, he can do that sort of thing. But that wig, not cool. I did not like the look of it. I was like, yeah, that's a little whack. They need to fix that. But I am excited to see that character. And I almost feel like Woody needs to lose some weight though, because when I think of Cletus Cassidy, I think of this like spiny, skinny, you know what I mean, kind of twisted kind of villain, and that's what I would want from the Carnage character from Cletus Cassidy. And yeah, Maximum Carnage, which had my boy Kane in it, was dope. Or was that maximum or minimum? Maybe it was Minimum Carnage. I don't remember. But there's this crazy storyline where like essentially the symbiote with the Carnage symbiote literally is in the blood of Cletus Cassidy. It becomes a part of his blood. So even if they get it out, it like comes back basically. Which is kind of what happened with Eddie at the end of the movie. When will you be having a gaming live stream? Yova asks. So what's funny is like we have the gaming channel, the Denim Nerds Gaming. It mostly covers mobile games right now. Justin is doing coverage of Fate Grand Order, massive mobile game, and he's also doing a lot of coverage of Dragalia Lost, mobile game. And Dragalia Lost is amazing. Now, I'm a big fan of Dragon Ball Legends. That's like my favorite mobile game right now, and I've been practicing on that. We're going to be doing a lot of live streaming because we're going to start a Twitch channel soon. So on the Twitch channel, different members of the team, including some new members of the team, are going to be streaming, right? So we're going to have streams on Twitch, and everybody will pick. Yeah, check it out, Yova. I'm actually not on the gaming channel a lot. I'm definitely going to go over there eventually. I've been planning on it, but I've been kind of busy. But yeah, Justin does great work over there. If you're into Fate Grand Order or Dragalia Lost, my man's got you covered. And yeah, I know all about Anthem. Anthem, I'm hoping. Like I get excited about these games. Like I bought into the hype. See you, Walia. Thanks, man. I bought into the hype with Destiny, and that game let me down a big time. So I did not like Vanilla Vest. Destiny. It broke my heart. I did not play Destiny 2. But I always hope when I hear about games like Anthem, I'm like, yeah, like that could be the one. That could be the one. Lior Massa. I hope I said your name right. My favorite character from Star Wars. It's kind of tough. I like Ben Solo or Kylo Ren quite a bit. I also love Kit Fisto. Kit Fisto, dope Jedi. Dope Jedi. Waterproof lightsaber? Come on. Waterproof lightsaber. The guy can lightsaber fight underwater. What a badass. And I hated how he went out. Emperor Palpatine just cutting him down. Cutting him down like a punk. No. Big Mo to Florida boy. No. He is not being fired. Yo, I've heard about this. Quentin. K. Winton. I think that's how you say your name. Quentin Goins. I've heard about that. I don't know if it's true. I would love it. I would love it. I would love for Tony to be that guy. Because remember what Cap says to him? Is like, you're not the guy to lay down on the wire and let the other guy crawl across you. I think there's a lot of full circle stuff that's going to happen in Avengers 4. So, like, Cap is going to make the ultimate sacrifice. I think we all realize that's probably going to happen. Tony's going to have to man up, really make a sacrifice. Like, this is it, man. This is the darkest of days. This is going to be some amazing stuff. And so what Quentin's referring to is this rumor that Tony will have a kid at the beginning of Infinity War, and that he would have to choose between his kid and saving everyone. That maybe he'll have to sacrifice his kid for the Soul Stone or something like that. Oh, snap. Alfred Schuler coming in with the super chat. Al, my man. Fallout 76 and Red Dead 2 streaming. I'll do it. Awesome, bro. No, honestly, we'll get you on there. Let's do it. Let's do it, dude. Let's get you on there because those games are probably going to be massively popular. Doesn't 76 come out relatively soon, Al? Hit me up about that. Does it come out soon? But yeah, let's do it. Let's get you on some streaming for the channel. That would be awesome. By the way, guys, Al is an executive producer on the channel. He's our largest Patreon. Yeah, Al is the man. November 14th? Yo, I'm going to get the Twitch set up before November 14th. I got to. Do you think Thanos could have been defeated if Cap and Iron Man fought together? That's a really cool idea. I think that they've said something similar to that in interviews and different things like that, where they said something to the effect of like the real reason that they couldn't beat Thanos is because they were divided. I forget who said that. Was it like the Russo brothers or somebody? Could even be Feige. They lost because they were divided. And I think that's definitely a big part of it. Had Cap and Tony been working together, yeah, it's very possible because that's what's going to beat him is them working together. Do you know what I mean? Ryan, Ryan, I'll confess this to you. I'll confess this to you in the whole stream right now. I'm a big wuss when it comes to horror movies. I don't like it. In fact, it's a running joke with me and my roommates where they want to go see a scary movie because my roommates really are into them, especially my one roommate. And I'm always like, nope, too scary, even if it's not scary. Like, even if it's not, I always say it just because, like, I don't like them. I don't like scary movies. In fact, even Venom, the beginning scene with the symbiote, yo, that shit terrified me. That terrified me. But it was cool. And where will Captain Marvel come into Avengers 4? Quentin, so this is where I think it's going to happen with Captain Marvel. She is going to come in and sort of have the baton passed to her, but the major thing that she's going to bring to the team is her knowledge of all these other alien races, her knowledge of the universe. So like she'll know the Kree, she'll know the Skrull. We really think that the Kree and Skrull are going to be in Avengers 4. There was casting calls for people for prosthetics and different things like that. And I think that she's going to help formulate an armada or a coalition between all of the races, and they're going to send this big fleet at Thanos. Like Shi'ar. I hope that, I mean, they don't have the Shi'ar. They do now, but they didn't. But the Kree and the Skrull, everybody gets in their ships. That's what the new armor is, in my opinion. I did the Nerdy News Rundown earlier today, the news show I do 5 days a week. The new armor that was leaked from that toy, I think that's space armor, yo. I think that's like some Mass Effect shit. And I think we're going to space with the whole team, all the Avengers. It's like Star Wars meets Marvel. They're going to get in all their ships. The Kree and the Skrull are going to hang out too. And they're all going to head to Thanos as a big army. It's going to be dope. Yeah, Ryan. Yeah. Ben Mendelsohn. Amazing actor. Anthony, I don't think she'll have a leadership role, but I don't think she'll be in charge of everything. I think that like Doc Strange will do that mostly. And if Tony's still alive, I mean, he's going to kind of be there too. Wakanda Forever. I saw your question earlier. 5-year time gap, maybe. I think that's a little weird, to be honest. I think it's a little weird. I don't know if they're gonna do that with the 5-year time gap. That'd be cool. I mean, I think it could work, but it just feels kind of like what the hell happened in that 5 years. Although they could explain what happened, the Earth would be in a very bad spot. You know what I mean? I think there could be a Thor 4. It really depends on Avengers 4, right? Like we really got to see what happens. I would love to see Thor as far as the Odin son and that character. I would love to see him kind of remain as and become Odin, so to speak, and just be the new Odin of things because we don't have to see him all the time. They don't have to pay him all the time, but when he comes in, it's dope. And then maybe have a new Thor That's what I would like to see. Yeah, Wakanda Forever. Totally agree with that synopsis between the mixes. In fact, if you watch the news show, the video I did earlier today, I go into that in some detail. Okay, Big Mo to Florida Boy. This is an interesting question because this is something I've been thinking a lot about, so I want to talk about this. The quantum realm, the quantum world, and all that. Ah, damn it, David. That's a good question, but I got to finish my thought here. Okay. So we all thought that the quantum realm is obviously going to play a role. It's very important to Avengers 4. When the plot leak, the initial big plot leak came out, the idea was that they're going to figure out a way to manipulate the quantum realm to have multiple copies of the gems, that they'll have multiple gauntlets. They'll figure out a way to have other stones. Um, I don't. The more I think about it, maybe that's not the case. Maybe they're just using the quantum energy to do something. I think that maybe what happened with Stormbreaker, where Thor sort of cuts through the blast from the gauntlet with Thanos, I feel like that's foreshadowing. It's almost telling the audience like, hey, this infinitely powerful weapon can still be defeated by other weapons. That we could figure this out. And Tony's the builder, right? And so maybe he makes a weapon like that. Some people, Cosmic Wonder had a great video on this with the huge rocket launcher type thing that could fire quantum energy. Imagine just like a massive blast of quantum energy going through the gauntlet, through everything that Thanos could do, and just freaking nails him and blasts him. You know what I mean? So I'm starting to lean actually more towards maybe it's not time travel, universe hopping. Maybe the quantum realm is used for something else. So that's what I think about that. Mm-hmm. Do you have an unpopular opinion about Star Wars in the MCU? You obviously haven't been following me when it comes to Star Wars. Yes, I have an unpopular opinion with Star Wars. Here's my unpopular opinion when it comes to Star Wars. I like the movies. They could be better. Apparently that's unpopular because the people want you to like get on one side and have pitchforks. What do you think about? Okay, this is a good question. Wakanda Forever. What do you think about the Fox Disney deal closing January 1st and possibility of after credit scene? Look, I would love this. Do not put it past Marvel to do something like this. What Wakanda Forever is saying is it possible that if that deal closes on January 1st, we get a post-credit scene for Infinity War? Now, everything within reason says, yo, probably not. They can't plan that. They're going to set something else up. Do not put that shit past Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige could figure that out. They were working on the Spider-Man scenes for Civil War before that deal finalized. And like the Russo brothers talk about this, where they're like, it could have been a thing where we had to remove all that footage. That could have happened. And I mean, I'm not saying they did that with the X-Men, but like they might have. They could have been working on some stuff right now. You know what I mean? And it doesn't even have to be the X-Men. It could be mutants. Mutant genes popping up. Ever since we undid the event of the snap from Thanos, a new anomaly has been gripping the world. Newly enhanced people with a mutation. A mutant, if you will. Think about it. It'd be dope, right? Don't put it past Kevin Feige. It could happen. Ryan, check this out. I love Star Wars, but the fans are toxic and ruin everything. Not all the fans, bro. And we're trying to change that here. I do Star Wars content, talking about just how dope it is. We get trolls. Just ignore them. I'll try to do my part and delete crazy shit. But for the most part, we just got to ignore them. Ignore them. If you're pumped about it, be pumped about it. If you're not pumped about it, let your voice heard. But you don't have to troll. You don't have to be rude. The change starts with you. Let's see here. Watch loads of your videos. Never heard your opinion. Fair enough, though. Yeah, that's my opinion. I like the movies. They could be better. Like, for real. They could be better. But I like them. Yeah, and Reylo. If you didn't know, guys, I'm an unabashed Reylo shipper. If you don't know what Reylo is, it's the shipping of Kylo Ren and Rey. And I know, it sounds a little weird. But trust me, it's dope. And I'll just do a little tease. I'm working on a really cool video for Star Wars Sundays. Guys, every Sunday here on the channel, I do like a big Star Wars video. This one is really cool. And it has to do with the Cosmic Force, has to do with Rey, has to do with Kylo. It's very cool. Yeah, that post-credit scene would be hype. They have not done great with the Finn character. That's true. They could do much better with that character. All right, guys, I'm going 5 more minutes. Hit me with some questions. Go over a few more questions. Any chance that Tony passes his legacy to Peters and not another Iron Man? What do you mean? Do you mean Pepper? Or Peter Parker? Yova, the post-credit scene was just the idea that maybe they do an X-Men post-credit scene or a mutant post-credit scene at the end of Infinity War 2 or Avengers 4. Spider-Man? I tell you what, it's way less likely now. Way less likely now, David. Yo, they did Venom's calling it. They're going to take that character back. All of a sudden, they'll have Iron Spider-Man. Sony, I don't like that. I don't think Marvel likes that either. Yeah, what about Vision? Well, they'll probably just undo the snap and everything that happened kind of before it. Vision could come back, or they figure out his body. They figure out how to bring him back. You know, Shuri is pretty smart. Shuri is pretty stinking smart, and he's already in Wakanda, so they could probably figure that out. What do I think about James Gunn's soft reboot of Suicide Squad? Why did that disappear? Why did that disappear? I think it's awesome. Love James Gunn. Damn, he's bad at making jokes. Those jokes were horrible. Disgusting. Assholey, even. But he's amazing. He's a great filmmaker. I think we need to learn to forgive as a society. And I'm pumped. If he really does, if he really does do Suicide Squad 2, okay, there's your question. The Suicide Squad 2 thing, hype on that. That would be dope. I'd be very excited. And I would not have been excited for Suicide Squad 2. Like, there's not a lot that could have got me pumped about it, to be honest with you. Didn't really like the first one. Getting rid of the Leto Joker movie, probably the best move. I'm so pumped to see what he does with Morbius. So pumped. Get out of here, Ryan. Is that true? James Gunn did the Scooby-Doo movies? Because those movies are lit. I love those movies. Yo, you better not be lying to me, Ryan, because I'm going to look that up. Oh, and here's another one that was really weird. I was working on an article today, guys. By the way, let me know in the comments, guys. Do you like Dragon Ball? So I'm going to start doing more Dragon Ball content on this channel. I used to have a big Dragon Ball following. Well, I don't know how big it was. I had some massive Dragon Ball videos, and then people were following me for a while. I love Dragon Ball, and I'm so hype on the Broly movie. So let me know what you think, guys. If you love you some DBZ, you love some Dragon Ball, enable notifications, mother truckers, because I'm going to start doing Dragon Ball content. I might even do a video tonight. I'm feeling it. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, check this out. This is going to blow your mind and maybe upset you, but it has to be said. James Wan, brilliant director. So excited to see what he's going to do with Aquaman. But you know what other movie James Wan did? He did the Dragon Ball Evolution movie. Yeah, he did the Dragon Ball Evolution movie, the live-action Dragon Ball movie that was garbage. My man James Wan did that movie, guys. Oh, no. Oh, no. He did do Fast and Furious 3 and 7, I believe. Yeah. Yeah. Yo, Tokyo Drift is an amazing movie. Tokyo Drift is dope. Cool. I'm glad I see some Dragon Ball love out there. I'm doing it. Yo, Evolution sucked. Evolution was so bad, yo. Evolution is one of those movies you only see once, and you hate the fact that you did. It was garbage. What a waste. All right, a couple more questions, and then I'm getting out of here, guys. Thank you so much. We're definitely doing more of these live streams, fan chats. So definitely, come on back for the next one, and we're gonna have fun, man. We're gonna have a lot of fun. I think I saw a question about my favorite comic book. You know what's funny? Like, so I have a lot of favorite comic books, but yeah, Leora, I got you right here. Give me 1 second. I want to show you this. So I talk a lot about like books that I've really liked recently. Like, you should definitely be reading the Tom King Mr. Miracle. That book is incredible. Um, Sean Gordon Murphy, White Knight, incredible comic book. But everybody knows about those, right? You've got to check out this book right here. This is Eternity, written by Matt Kint. This book is so good. It's valiant. It's very trippy. If you like I like kind of like more intellectual kind of trippy stuff. Um if you like that kind of stuff, like here, I'll show you what the interiors look like. Like, look at this. Hope I don't get like sued for this. That's what the internals look like. Like, the art is out of control. The art is out of control. I love it. Trevor Harrison and Ryan Wynn do the pencils and the inks for most of these. I think all of them. It's a great story. It's self-contained. Very, very good. Highly recommend it. Yo, thanks, man. Peace out. Hello there. I have not read the new Sentry, but Sentry's one of my favorite characters. I would really like Sentry to be brought into the MCU. They said that they were doing that Dark Avengers movie, which I covered on the news yesterday. They're moving forward with that. Dark Avengers with Sentry, like, sign me up, yo. Hype City. Hype City for that. Yo, I want to ask you guys a question too. Let me know what you're thinking about this before we get out of here, and I'll touch a couple more questions. Yo, sorry, everything Star Wars. The stream's almost over, but we're just doing Q&A right now. You can just hit me with any question you got, but I want to know something from you guys, especially since I saw you pop in here. What do you guys think about this rumor with Emperor Palpatine being in Episode 9? What do you guys think about that? They covered it on, I mean, John Cambia covered it today. They covered it on Jedi Council. I think it literally all comes from a Mike Zero video, and it's a rumor. And, like, you know, some people freak out and they're like, "Oh, Mike Zero, he doesn't know anything." I got into another Twitter argument with somebody. Well, not an argument, but just a disagreement about that this morning. But what do you guys think about this? Because I think Palpatine is going to be in the movie, but probably as a hologram, like a holocron or something. But some people, like Christian Harloff was saying, he thinks Palpatine's going to be resurrected. No way. At least in my mind, no way. But yeah, what do you guys think about that? So Yova says it's cool, all coming back because the end of the Skywalker saga. Yeah, I can see that. Leor says no, bad idea. I hope he's Sith Force Ghost. That could be really cool. That's happened before a little bit here and there, but the new canon, they kind of say that can't happen. Do you know what I mean? That, like, the Sith can't do that. Do you guys know what happens when they become Force Ghosts? Why that happens? Yeah, David, it's real shit. That's what people are talking about. Holocron would be dope. World of Worlds, or the World Between Worlds. Yeah, that would be really cool. Ian McDiarmid is old, but he looks good, actually. I saw him at Star Wars Celebration last year. It looks great. The sequels need to establish the characters a lot. This is something that I get when I have constructive, like, talks with people about The Last Jedi. I always bring up the fact that, like, look, in Empire, we double down on the characters from the first movie. The only real new one is Lando, and he's kind of a second, third act add-in and ends up betraying our characters. He's a con man. He's not a major character, even though he gets redeemed and people love him and they bring him back. The big one of the mistakes of The Last Jedi is not doubling down on those characters. Like, I'm sorry, Rose should not have been a big thing in that film, in my opinion. It should have been Finn and Poe, and we should have had more time with those guys. You know what I mean? So, like, I do agree that's one of the things they didn't do is build a good relationship with the fans and these new characters. Yo, Glenn White, did you notice that you got the shout out in today's Nerdy News Rundown? You got the shout out this morning, my friend. All right, guys, I'm going to do one more question. Drop your questions in. I'm going to do one more question. Just going to pick out something that I like, and then we're going to get out of here. And we will definitely be doing more of these fan chats. Anytime there's like a big thing out there, something I really want to talk about, and I really like want to talk about it, like with you guys, we're going to do fan chats. So we're going to be doing a lot more fan chats. Ryan, that's funny. I kind of agree with you. Wakanda Forever, I kind of went over this in the earlier part of the video, but yeah, they're going to get a crossover. Okay, all right, we'll go with this one because it's kind of the same question that David and Everything Star Wars is asking. My thoughts on another trilogy about redeem Kylo or to mirror Anakin. So, this is something I talked about in a live stream. David, you might have heard this on one of our live streams, on one of the Star Wars Sundays live streams. But you know, Girls with Sabers could have talked about it too because we communicate a lot. So there is something to the fact that Anakin got 6 movies. So Anakin in the first 3 movies he's the hero. He falls to the dark side for the last 3 movies and is ultimately redeemed. Anakin Skywalker or Ben Solo could have a very similar thing. A lot of people think that it was the mirror of Anakin. That Ben Solo is the mirror of Anakin, meaning 3 films on the dark side, and then it gets turned to the light, and then 3 films, and then oh crap, does he go back to the dark? That would be terrible. But yeah, so there's some precedent there. Now, ultimately, there are different ways that the sequel trilogy could end. But I think it ends with an impact from Ben and Rey. Now, the video I'm working on for Sunday is going to talk about this a little bit. Guys, the cosmic force is at work here, and there's something to the fact that the cosmic force is trying to get Ben and Rey together. It is trying to figure out how to put them together. They need to do something to help balance the force. The cosmic force is what was dormant after the long peace. After Luke defeats the Emperor with the help of his father, the cosmic force is what lies dormant. The cosmic force is what awakens in The Force Awakens. And so, if the story is to continue, it will be about how the cosmic force is manifesting. Now, if you've never seen my video, please go check out the Google. I believe if you just Google The Force Child and the Den of Nerds, this video will pop up. But I did this really cool video called The Force Child video, talking about how a possible child was conceived in the moments that Rey and Ben touched hands. And it's possible that that child is more powerful than Anakin Skywalker. That child could have the ability to reshape reality. He could be so powerful, he or she could be so powerful that they could reshape reality. And so that would be very interesting. And my ultimate wish, like my fanboy wish, if I was writing this thing, would be that that child is causing chaos. That child turns to the dark side. And then out of exile, the person everybody thought was dead, Ben Solo, comes back out, now master of light and dark, and has to turn his own son. That would be really cool. That would be where I want to go with it. But that's going to do it, guys. That's my last little speculation nerd out. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. This has been super fun. We're going to do a ton more of these things as well. You guys are amazing. Thank you for supporting the channel, guys. The Den of Nerds is independent media. Independent media. We exist basically because of the passion from you guys. Consider checking out the Patreon. We're doing a live stream with the Patreons later tonight. We've got merchandise as a shop. It's linked at the end of almost every video. Thank you guys so much. You guys are amazing. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon, okay? As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video.